Greetings hunters, this is Christina from the GameCat team. In the last video, we introduced how to use the basic search function in the GameCat Armorset builder for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. If you haven't watched that video yet, make sure you check it out first, cause this time I won't cover the basic features. In this video, I'll walk you through another feature that recommends qurious augmentations. We call this feature qurious augment autofill, and it all started with the questions we constantly faced after qurious crafting was introduced to the game. Which armor should I augment? What augmentations should I keep? It would be great if the Armorset builder could give answers to these questions according to the skill set we need. Meanwhile, research on the mechanism of qurious augments has shown that the odds of getting an augmentation depend on the cost of the augmentation and the rarity of the base armor. Since it could be extremely hard to get an armor augmented with multiple rare skills or slots, we hoped our Armorset builder could recommend augments that are not too hard to acquire in practice, while at the same time it still satisfies your skill needs. Therefore, we introduced two features that recommend qurious augmentations. The first one uses the simple augment filling algorithm. Basically, for each base armor, it suggests either one skill augmentation or one slot augmentation, so that it won't be too hard for you to acquire these augmented armors in-game. The second feature uses the skill set filling algorithm. It basically suggests several feasible skill sets, and it also suggests the order of augmentation. So after you follow this order and acquire any of the skill sets on these armors, your build will be finished. Note that both of these features will use your saved qurious crafting list when searching, so that the armors that you've already augmented won't be wasted. In this video, I'll only cover the first feature, which uses the simple augment filling algorithm. In the auto search mode, I've defined a set of skills, and I've specified a weapon and imported my talismans and qurious armors. If we directly search without any qurious augment autofill feature, we can see that there are no results to be found. It means that with our current talismans and qurious armors, it's simply impossible to get all these specified skills. Now, let's turn on this qurious augment recommendation feature by selecting any one from the second to fourth option. They only vary in probability of the augmentations. So with lower probability, it's harder to roll out the augmentations, but the augmentations could also be rarer and supposedly better, so you might be able to get more skills. Here, we'll use the probability level of 0.5% and start search. For the sake of time, I'll just stop search here halfway. Now let's take a look at the results. The results are automatically sorted by grandicity. We define this grandicity, which indicates how hard it is to roll out all the augmentations in this build. The larger the grandicity is, the harder it is to acquire all these augmentations. The grandicity is approximately the number of rolls needed for most players to augment all armors as recommended. Here, we can see that the armors are labeled with crafting needed, and they have a pale red background. These are the armors that the Armorset searcher recommends you to augment. The number of armors that needs augmentation could be anywhere from 0 to all 5, like here. Take this Malzeno male as an example. It recommends you to get an augmentation of one more slot, and the probability of getting that augmentation is also shown. Similar to other search results, you can always apply this build, and then export or save this build to favorites. The recommended augment will also be shown on this main page. And once you've augmented this armor as suggested, you can always click on the slots here or the skill here to enter this augmentation entry. Here, the base armor and the recommended augmentation have already been loaded automatically, and you just have to enter other information and then hit save and clear. One thing I do want to mention is that in practice, you might have skills removed in qurious crafting. In that case, you'll need to judge by yourself whether the removal of the skill affects your build. These are everything about the simple augment filling function. There is a second and more advanced qurious augment recommendation feature that suggests skill sets and the order of augmentation, and I'll introduce these in the next video. If you have questions or thoughts, feel free to comment below. If you like our website, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to us. And don't forget to recommend our GameCat Armorset builder to others. Thank you for watching and see you next time.